Yeah, welcome back to Matter of Opinion. Hey, don't be baffled. This is what's happening. What you've just seen is Jonathan Kaplan and Matt Richards in Oakland, California, and what they're dealing with, and some of the same things we're dealing with here on the East Coast, is recycling issues and problems. And what they've just what's happened to them is they've attempted to find local stores, local depositories, and for their recyclables, glass and tin and plastic, and they needed to drive 20 miles to redeem that, and because there's no way to wrap it up and to put it somewhere in their own community. Today's this all hasn't been done in the beginning. We start again? We'll go to 11:30. That's okay. We have on the show today, in keeping with our environmental consciousness theme of the show, and that's what I forgot to tell everyone.
All right.
Okay?
Yes.
Am I forgiven?
You are correct.
Nagging in unison. Okay. So I'd like to welcome owner of Seventh Generation, John Quinney. Jonathan Quinney, it's nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Hi. Now, how long has Seventh Generation existed?
The company's existed since 1988, and the store has been around for almost 2 years.
So it's a company. So you have various...
there's a mail order company and there's a store.
Really? Which existed first? The mail order company?
Yeah, the mail order.
Oh, wow. And now this is in downtown Burlington. And what street is that?
It's on the corner of Battery Street and King Street.
And I've been in there once or twice when I first moved to the Burlington area. And what sort of merchandise do you sell?
There's about 1,000 different products, and they all have some kind of environmental benefit. There's toilet paper that's made from recycled material, there's compact fluorescent lights, there's low-flow shower heads, environmental books, diapers, cleaners.
And what are the diapers made out of?
Some of them are made out of bleached cotton cloth, some of them are made out of unbleached cotton cloth. We also have some disposable diapers that are better than the ones that you buy in other places. They're not biodegradable, but they're made with less trees than other diapers.
Mm-hmm. And you also have like women's purses and clutch purses made out of the rubber from tires. Those are really fascinating.
Yeah, old inner tubes that are recycled into women's handbags and purses and passport bags.
And now, what do you think? How long have you lived in Burlington for?
I've lived in the area for just 2 years.
And where are you from originally?
From New Zealand.
And I would imagine that the US of A is a much cleaner country than New Zealand. Am I correct in thinking that? We're so tidy, aren't we?
Well, you have less sheep than we do.
We have less sheep. Ladies' night at UVM. No, I don't know. So anyway, now, what do you think is the biggest problem that Burlington has and what you see on your end?
Oh, goodness. I'm not really sure how to answer your question. I don't think I really would point out one problem that's more important than any other, unless it was transportation. I mean, I drive in along Route 7 every day, and it gets worse and worse.
It's terrible.
I would be really interested in seeing what can be done to improve that by having better public transportation, or having more extensive bike paths, or having commuter trains, or something that will get people out of their cars and make it more pleasant, more fun getting into Burlington every day.
And have you found that in the past 2 years since you've been here that there's been much more peripheral interest in your stores and in your mail order from Burlington and Charlotte and Shelburne, people coming into downtown Burlington to really utilize what you have to benefit?
Yeah, customers come from all over Chittenden County, and there's about 30% of them that come from outside the county, because the catalog is distributed nationally. So we get a lot of catalog customers who come into the store when they're visiting Burlington.
Oh, that's great. Let's talk about your employees. Now, in the interview process, do you ask them if they're a litter bug? Do you ask them
we give them a quiz with environmental questions. They have to get 75 out of 100, or else we don't hire them.
Really? Wow. Wow.
No, we don't do that. But I mean, we look for people who share the same kind of values that the store does. People who use the products, people who are active in the community, and are also informed about environmental issues.
And I'm sure that people who have the general interest in the environment and are active with that seek out your store and want to be a part of it, just to also as an educational forum for them. Yeah. Now let me ask you also, now this I didn't know until just right before the show started, was that you spoke at Johnson State College's commencement this past spring of '92.
That's right.
And what was, topically, what did you speak about there?
I talked about how important it was to have a sense of place, for us to choose our place on the earth and just sort of dig in and make it home and work to make it a better place. And that was the theme of what I talked about, and I tried to lighten it a little bit by encouraging people that the next time it rained, for them to actually get out and get on their bellies down on the grass and actually watch a drop of rain fall on a blade of grass and see what it does. But it was all tied together somehow.
Is this the first time you've ever spoken at a commencement?
Yes, it is.
Is something you'd like to do again?
Perhaps.
Depending on the college or university. It's kind of a scary thing, probably.
It is a scary thing.
I'm sure you did fine. Yeah. What I'd like to do is I'd like to open up the lines throughout our discussion here with Jonathan Quinney to callers who would want to speak, questions regarding seventh generation or whatever issues they're dealing with trying to recycle and problems they're having. And our number is 658-5165. Don't pay any attention to her. In any case, now I want to ask you, what is this big toilet paper question mark out in front of your store? This modern sculpture here.
That's a thinly disguised attempt to draw attention to the store. And
because it's single ply. And,
Well, no, it's toilet paper and it's made from recycled material.
And I'm sorry, it was.
That's all right.
Yeah, I thought we had a caller for you and we had a recording.
Yeah.
We're saving up for a caller.
Okay, good. No, it's just a way of drawing attention to the store. I mean, you see people all along the street who put things out on the pavement to try and let passers-by know what they're doing. So we have toilet paper out there. Sometimes we put out a windmill, compost bins, T-shirts.
So the marketing strategy is they drive by, they see the toilet paper, and they say, I got to go really bad, and they drive home. That's the marketing strategy?
Yeah, it could be. Or they say, I've run out, I've got to go in and get some.
That's right. Caller?
Hi.
We have a question for Jonathan Quinney from Seventh Generation.
I sure do. I was wondering where John's originally from.
I'm from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Whereabouts?
Well, how are the recycling programs in New Zealand? Innovative or?
To tell you the truth, I don't have a clue.
When was the last time you were back in New Zealand?
I left New Zealand more than 20 years ago, and so I'm really not sure what's going on environmentally in New Zealand now. I'm really not.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yep, thank you.
Now, what are your plans for seventh generation? How are you going to be expanding? What's the next piece that you want to tackle and work on?
I think doing more things in the community, getting more involved with environmental groups, recycling programs, working with the Chittenden Solid Waste District, and also expanding the store, adding more products and perhaps moving, in a couple of years or so, moving to a location where we have more space.
Giving up that space?
Perhaps.
Caller, you're on the air. You've never sounded brighter or more energetic. Goodbye. She just wanted to offer a little something before she turns in for the evening. And keeping with our gurgling theme, we are now. Now, which location will you be moving to?
I don't know.
That's down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the air.
I was wondering if you thought, the recycling part in the United States, was it, good as far as he wanted it, or does he think we're doing good with recycling?
Oh, speaking from someone who's from another country, and
yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're pretty pitiful, but I think you wanted to offer more about what you're seeing in Burlington?
Yeah, I think Burlington is doing really well. There's not too many communities in this country that have mandatory recycling for businesses, for example, and there's a lot of places that have curbside recycling, but Burlington has that as well. There's not a lot of places that have something like the environmental depot that takes household hazardous wastes. There's not a lot of places that have lined landfills like Burlington does. So I think Burlington's doing really well. And there's a tremendous amount more that we can do. In Europe, for example, you can recycle fluorescent bulbs that have mercury in them. You can also recycle alkaline batteries. Neither of those things you can do very easily in this country. So I think we're doing well, and there's a tremendous amount more to do as well. One of the main problems is creating demand for all of these materials that are being collected and recycled. That's an area where we need to do a lot more.
Thank you. So we can take one more call, but I want to ask you now, what sort of things, now the mercury obviously might be a little bit, in recycling bulbs, might cause some difficulty. The alkaline from batteries, that's safe though?
Well, a lot of...
if it leaks, that's other than being flammable.
A lot of household batteries have mercury in them. It's being reduced, and fairly soon there'll actually be no mercury in household batteries at all. But with the fluorescent bulbs, the problem if you just throw them in the trash is the mercury that they contain. And that's why they should be collected and recycled, and you should be able to recover the mercury from them.
One more call. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm curious about your employees and how you select them. I heard earlier you were joking about giving them an environmental quiz and that sort of thing. But I guess I'm curious about how you do select your employees.
Okay. I think our hiring process is perhaps similar to a lot of other companies, but we're looking for people who do have environmental values, who are committed to improving the environment, who actually practice environmental values in the way that they live their lives. And we're also looking for people who have the basic skills that we're needing if they're working on the telephones or working in the store. Personally, I'm looking for people who, in addition to that, really enjoy working with people. And
I guess my question is about, I'm wondering...
If you can have a job.
No, actually, not at all.
Your cousin can have a job.
I already have a job, thank you. But I'm wondering about people who might not share the more esoteric or aesthetic qualities that you espouse, who might benefit still from having a job, and who might learn some of those qualities by having worked in that environment. And that, from what I'm hearing, it sort of feels like they're locked out.
I don't think anyone's excluded in that process these days. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people looking for work, and a lot of those people are very well qualified, and a lot of those people also have values that would be very useful in working for a company like Seventh Generation.
And also, to work behind the register, you have to have your head shaved. Goodbye. We'd like to thank Jonathan Quinney from Seventh Generation for being on the show. And we're going to go to a cow interlude, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
Bye, John.
See you.